Brahmanda Purana, Part 5, Lalita Mahatmya, Chapter 41, Propitiation of Goddess Kamaksi. Agastya said, "Of what type is her yantra, mystical diagram and talisman? Of what nature of the excellent mantra? Of what type is the disciple? O Hayagriva, you are omniscient, you are the great Purusha, Vishnu himself. O Holy Lord, with a kind and benevolent look towards me, do explain all these things." Hayagriva said, "Sri Chakra alone is her mantra or yantra. She is Tripurambika and she is Mahalakshmi herself." The footnote says the present chapter deals with the propitiation of Kamakshi. For this, worship of Sri Chakra is essential, as Saundarya Lahari verse 11 describes Sri Chakra as the following diagrammatic formation: the abode of 9 angles, 4 of Shiva and 5 of Shakti, together with 8 petals, 16 leaves, 3 roundings and 3 walls, enlarges itself into one of 44 angles. She is enclosed figure. Verse number 3 to 6 describe the importance of Sri Chakra. She is Tripurambika and she is Mahalakshmi herself. Formerly, the chakra was seen coming out of Atman, throbbing and sparkling. It expanded and increased in luminosity. Indeed, the greatness of this wheel circle cannot be fully comprehended. The fact is, Sri Chakra is Mahalakshmi herself. It was by worshipping it that the lotus-eyed Mahavishnu attained the form of Kamasammohini, enchantress of even god of love, fascinating the worlds. After worshipping it, Ishana became the lord of all lords. By propitiating it, particularly Brahma became the progenitor of the cosmic egg. It is by means of its worship that the god of love became the enchanter of even the sages. The chakra should be made of gold or silver, etc. The footnote says verse number 7 to 13 describe the procedure of worshipping Sri Chakra and its efficacy. The devotee should place it in front of Sri Devi and worship it with sweet scents, repeating the 16-syllabled mantra. Every day, the devotee should wear auspicious dress and equipments. He should worship the goddess with thousands of sacred tulasi leaves, repeating the Mula mantra. He must meditate upon Sri Devi. He should propitiate Mahalakshmi by means of splendid food offerings such as honey, ghee, sugar, milk, puddings, and other blameless articles, as well as black crumb cakes of pleasing nature. The intelligent devotee should thus propitiate Mahalakshmi in 3 mandalas zones. Parameshwari immediately appears before him. The delighted goddess will fulfill whatever he desires mentally. If a person worships with white flowers in the manner mentioned before, Bharati, goddess of speech, will dance on his tongue perpetually. If a person worships the chakra with pink flowers in the manner mentioned before, he can control a king with imperial powers, as though he was a mere slave. If a person worships with splendid yellow flowers, as before, Sri, goddess of wealth herself, will certainly stay on his chest permanently. One shall not worship Shiva with foul-smelling or odorless flowers, even if they have good colors. One shall worship Shiva with only sweet-smelling flowers and blossoms. Kamakshi alone is Mahalakshmi. The chakra is Sri Chakra itself. The Sri Vidya is the greatest Vidya, that is mantra. The Naika, heroine, is the wife of the preceptor. The footnote says, verse number 15 to 17 describe the importance of Sri Vidya. It consists of 16 syllabled mantra, the mantra of 15 syllables given in note of chapter 39, and the syllables Rama, Rama Beach, the mantra of 16 syllables. The importance of this mantra is not still appreciated by the educated elite even in India. The leading mantra of this deity, O ascetic, is Sri Vidya alone. At the end of the mantra ending with the word Kamaraja, join Sri Bija. This 16 syllabled Vidya is glorified as Sri Vidya. Thus, a great secret has been recounted. It must be guarded carefully and strenuously. This Vidya is the Shakti of all the three Murtis. This Vidya is in the very form of the vital airs of all mantras. If this is learned and understood hereditarily, this Vidya liberates one from bondage. If it is remembered, it destroys sins, old age, and death. If it is worshipped, it destroys misery, misfortune, sickness, and poverty. If eulogized, it suppresses multitudes of obstacles. If it is meditated upon, it bestows the achievement of all objects. If a person is conversant with the principles of particular mudras, mystic gestures, and if he has destroyed his sins by means of the spiritual worship of the Supreme Goddess Parameshani, he shall attain the desired benefit. The footnote says, Mudra is the name of a particular position or intertwining of fingers. The various mudras for Lalita worship are given in the next chapter. A man strictly observing the vow of celibacy should worshipping with white flowers the deity clad in white garments and present in the center of a white abode. The Naivedyas, food offerings, should also be white, such as curds, milk, cooked rice, etc. The devotee should worship the highest deity, Parameshwari, with imaginary white articles as well. While meditating, he should imagine that he is worshipping with white flowers, etc. With pure mind, the devotee should worship the 16 syllabled mantra with the Trakshari Vija, that is the 3 syllabled forming the seed. The syllables constituting the mantras shall be repeated in the usual order as well as in the reverse order. He shall meditate on Sri Devi in the form of a lamp in front of the Lord. O ascetic, the japa shall be mental, upamsu, in whisper, or nigada, clear loud utterance. It shall be accompanied by Sri Devi Nyasa, the fingers, etc., to be placed in a particular form. An idol of Sri Devi also should be made. By repeating the mantra 100,000 times, the devotee is liberated from great sins. If he repeats the mantra 200,000 times, the greatest Kala destroys the sins of the sadhaka, aspirant devotee, committed in the course of 7 births. By repeating the mantra 300,000 times, the devotee is liberated from the sins of 1,000 births. There is no doubt about this, O sage, that he becomes exceedingly pure in that order if he repeats the mantra 1,600,000 times. He shall attain proximity of Devi. The footnote says verse number 24 to 29 describe the procedure of japa of the 16 syllabled mantra and its efficacy. The Purascharana, repetition of the name of deity accompanied with homa etc., is mentioned as follows. The puja is to be performed 3 times every day. Then the japa, tarpana, homa, and the feeding of brahmanas. All this should be performed. In the course of homa and tarpana, the word swaha should be used. In the course of nyasa, rites and worship, the word namaha should be used. At the time of japa, the devotee should duly worship Devi at the end of the mantra. The homa shall be 1/10 of japa, tarpana shall be 1/10 of homa. O suppressor of the Vindhya mountain, feeding of the brahmanas is 1/10 of the tarpana. If due to obstacles arising from time or place, any of the ancillary rites has to be dropped, the devotee should repeat the mantra twice that number and conclude Purascharana rites. Thereafter, for the sake of Kamya Prayoga, rites for the achievement of any desired object, the devotee should repeat the mantra 300,000 times. The devotee should observe vratas steadily without emotional aberrations. He shall be engaged in the worship 3 times a day. If he performs Vashya and other rites in order to win over persons, thereafter he shall attain Siddhi, that achievement. The repeater of the mantras, seated in the middle of the chakra, should contemplate after worshipping. He must think about himself as completely red like the morning light in color. The sadhya, the object to be achieved, also should be thought of as pink in color. The footnote says the procedure of Purascharana of this Vidya is described in verse number 32 33. This Vidya can be used for achieving certain personal objectives and destructive can be used destructively as well. Verse number 34 to 39 describe how the mantra is to be used for personal positive advantages, and verse number 40 to 70 explains how the mantra be used as black magic such as marana, uchatana, etc. Thereupon, O enemy of the Vindhya, he shall become handsome with all fortune and facilities. He shall win over everyone. There is no doubt about this. Equal parts of Gorochana, a yellow pigment, Kumkuma, saffron, and sandal paste shall be taken. After performing japa 108 times, the learned devotee should apply a tilaka on his forehead with the same. Thereafter, if he sees, speaks to, thinks about, or touches anyone with half of his body, he comes under his control like a slave. O ascetic, in the same way, in a flower, fruit, scent, beverage, or cloth is taken, and the japa is performed 108 times, and the article so taken is sent to a woman, immediately that woman is attracted towards him. Her heart will be in utter confusion, her right to control other persons. The devotee should draw the picture of a beautiful woman on the ground with Gorochana, yellow pigment. It should be in a secluded spot. She should be depicted at one dressed gracefully and amorously. She should be bedecked in all ornaments, birth, pedigree, name, vidya, and the picture of a god. All should be written in her forehead, neck, breast, navel, and knee. Words depicting God of love should be written in all joints. The devotee should face that direction and make a triputa of his body, bent in 3 places. He should make kshobhini, the agitatory gesture, and repeat mantra 800 times after uniting it in the sacrificial chamber full of luster of the sun and the moon. Even from a distance of 100 yojanas, he should then imagine and mentally conceive a woman of the following features. She is afflicted by the arrows of the god of love. Her side glances show signs of excitement. Her pudenda throb, indicating the increasing intensity of blazing passion. She is swallowed by the circle of shining rays inside Shakti Chakra. She has cast off her good conduct and feminine modesty. Her lotus like eyes are large and wide. Her eyes are attractive. Her bashfulness has disappeared due to the loss of her fortitude, self control. She is bound by the letters of mantra, yantra, medicine, and the great mudra. Her lotus like heart trembles due to the flutter of fresh love. She is mentally repeating the Maha Mantra many times. The silken garment has been removed. She is as though deluded, agitated, and borne down. Her form is strange and wonderful. She is as though drawn in a picture, devoid of consciousness, hit, thrashed, dissolved, motionless, and as though transformed into another person. On account of the power of mantra, she is whirling like the leaf of bamboo in a violent gust of wind. Thereafter he should think that the earth, including mountains, parks, and forests, and bounded by the four oceans, has come within the chakra and is blazing forth. If the devotee practices this rite for 6 months, he becomes very handsome, comparable to the god of love. Merely by looking on, he attracts the world. By this very act of seeing, he wins over everyone. Simply by casting his glance, he can excite any woman. By his sight alone, he can remove poison. By his very look alone, he can make someone the lord of speech. By his mere act of seeing, he can enchant everyone. By seeing, he instantaneously remove chaturthika, quartan fever, and other fevers. The devotee should secretly wear on his person Sri Chakra drawn with yellow material. There is no doubt about it that thereby he can quickly stun the speech of the disputant. One should draw chakra with the juice of Mahanili indigo plant along with the name of the enemy. He shall then sit facing the south and burn the same in the fire. This causes the death of the enemy. If the name of the enemy is written in the chakra with the cow's urine and dung of buffaloes and horses, and the chakra is placed in aranya, gruel made of fermentation of the boiled rice, it will enhance the hatred of the enemy. The name is written with yellow pigment and the chakra is tied with the hair from the side locks of children. The enemy will hang suspended like that in the sky, or if the same is hung up, this is a great means of uchatana, eradication or extirpation. If the chakra be drawn with the juice of the indigo plant mixed with milk, lac, and rochana, and if the same is worn on one's person, one can win over the people of the four castes. If the same is written in accordance with the same injunction and put in water, and if the water is used for drinking or bathing, the devotee will be blessed with great felicity and matchless fortune. If the devotee thinks continuously about the territory, city, or excellent lady depicted in the middle of the chakra as blazing up, O sage, he can excite and stir them up within 7 days. If the above rite is performed after drawing the chakra in yellow color and facing the east, the devotee can make disputants all disputants stunned. The devotee should face the north and worship the chakra drawn in saffron color. The whole world can be won over by him thus and not otherwise. If the devotee draws the chakra with red chalk and worship it facing west, he can then attract all women, win them over, and make them excited. The devotee should wander over a mountain alone and in secret and worship the chakra, O suppressor of the arrogance of the Vindhya mountain. The repeater of the mantras attains immortality and freedom from old age. There is no doubt about this. It is great secret that has been communicated, O great sage. it should be preserved carefully. By guarding it, one shall attain all siddhis. He will meet sure downfall if he discloses it. If without performing the Purascharana, O sage, anyone performs the above mentioned holy rite, he will not obtain mastery over the mantra or achievement thereof. In order to quell defects in the performance, the learned devotee shall repeat japa 100,000 times more. He should duly perform the puja too. Then only he shall become qualified and competent once again. If a person endowed with devotion worships the deity continuously without any desire in return for worship, if he repeats the mantra to his fullest capacity, meditating upon her, she herself shall bear the burden of his will in his world and accomplish liberation for him. Always staying near him, she will tell him everything, just as the loving cow follows the calf. So also the goddess shall follow her devotee who has sought refuge in her. Agastya said, O Hayagriva, what is the meaning of the term Sharanagata? One who has sought refuge. Tell me, who is that Sharanagata whom Gauri follows like a cow that follows her running calf? The footnote says verse number 72 to 78 explains the concept of prapatti or sharanagati. Hayagriva said, if a man places his burden on Sri Devata, the burden of responsibilities, etc., of this world, as well as that of the other world, and concentrates his mind always on her, if he is favorably disposed towards all, everywhere, if he is devoid of antagonists, if without having any one else as his refuge, he prays to Gauri exclusively, steadfastly to protect him, if he has the confidence that she will protect him, if his aim and purpose is solely her service, and if he is eager to serve and worship her, that activity is Sharanagati, seeking refuge. If at any time people praise him or censure him, the man who is sought refuge in the deity thinks like this: let the world censor all, let the world censor or let the people praise. After thinking thus and after observing his own form with good intellect, he ceases to experience pleasure or sorrow. Sharanagati consists of six aspects: thinking about favorable things, avoiding unfavorable things, faith that the deity will protect, soliciting the deity for protection, surrendering his own self, and karunya, piteousness or seeking compassion. After surrendering oneself, one should dedicate the five angas, all the five actions of the body. There is no other means like this to achieve worldly enjoyment as well as liberation from samsara. The following qualities are meant for the attainment of perfect knowledge. The footnote says, verse number 78 to 81 enumerate the qualities essential for attaining perfect knowledge. The following qualities are meant for the attainment of perfect knowledge. The devotee shall always practice them: absence of pride, absence of hypocrisy, avoidance of violence, forbearance, straightforwardness, service to the preceptor, cleanliness, steadiness, self control, non attachment to the objects of senses, absence of egotism, careful observation of the evils of birth, death, old age, ailments, and misery, absence of attachment and avoiding involvement with sons, wives, houses, etc., continuous even mindedness, irrespective of the desirable or undesirable happening or occurrence, unswerving devotion to the deity without thinking of other things, resorting to lonely places, distaste for the assembly of people, constant application to spiritual knowledge, and understanding the purpose of actual knowledge or philosophy. He who works for the deity, he who has her for his goal, who is devoted to her, who avoids attachment, and who bears no enmity to any living being, attains the greatest Shri. The preceptor shall be an intelligent man like me, and famous too, O scorcher of Batapi. The disciple is said to be one like you by the preceptor of the secret scriptures, Amnaya.